I drove. Have you been to White Sands?
Oh yeah.
It's like there's this big national park there with just a fuck ton of
bunch
sand.
of white sand.
Bunch
yeah.
of white sand.
It's
and
crazy.
it goes on for an unexpected distance.
Yeah, it's like another planet.
Yeah,
feels like
it does. It looks crazy. I feel like they should.
I shot a little.
Shot a little kid there.
Shot a little something down there.
I shot a person.
I shot a little kid down there. It's wild. He deserved it though. So
You're
it's all
talking
right.
shit, man.
No, I'm kidding.
He was like, Rufus 1 is better than Rufus 2, and you're like,
Yeah.
no,
I'm
fuck
like,
you. I love C.
You want to see Rufus 3, motherfucker? I'll show you Rufus 3.
This film begins with, huh? What? What's happening? What? What happened? Where am I? Who am I? Huh? I'm back? It's probably alright. This film begins with, wait, he's a boy again? Yeah, so you know how the last movie ended with Rufus's amulet getting shot and broken, resulting in Rufus getting turned back into a dog permanently? Well, it turns out, no! He actually can still turn into a human. And the only consequence that came from the amulet breaking was just that if Rufus gets too excited as a human, he'll turn back into a dog. Wait, hold on. If the amulet breaking had no negative side effects on Rufus's human half, then why did he turn back into a dog when it broke? And stay in that form for at least a couple of days. In fact, why was he still even wearing the amulet at the end of the first movie if everyone thought it didn't work anymore? I'm confused if this was always the plan or if they thought of this on the spot. Because on one hand, the last movie did end with a small tease that the amulet still had some magic left in it, but on the other hand, nothing about this makes any goddamn sense. And would you believe I've only talked about the first 3 minutes of the movie? And would you believe I'm not done talking about the first 3 minutes of the movie? Because yeah, the first 3 minutes. You may wonder how they were able to fill that time explaining what I was able to explain in 2 sentences. Well, that's because they don't. They spend the first minute and 30 seconds on the motherfucking Verminator hunting cats and dogs. And that's when you realize that for the pacing of this movie, the director took inspiration from the pacing of a plane crash. There are 3, count them, 3 different subplots all occurring at once. The problem is that they're trying to set up and pay off all these subplots with, no joke, 1 extra minute on the original movie. So they have to crank 90s and fucking speed run all 3 of these subplots. We have the stupid ass squirrel from the last movie and his goons trying to get the amulet to turn the squirrel into a human, Rufus and the kids fucking off at school, and the cats in a subplot that clearly went on to inspire Godzilla vs. Kong. They think there can only be 1 alpha species that can wield the amulets, and that they should be the ones to carry that title. Wait, amulets? Like plural? That's right, the cats just have their own amulets. But in the first movie, they implied there was only 1. That's the entire reason everyone wanted him. But anyways, then they show that they revealed Rufus's human form to White Boy's parents. Then they show us how Rufus... Wait, what? Yeah, you remember that big part of the last movie? That White Boy had to hide Rufus's human form from his parents? Yeah, well, I guess this movie has a fetish for pre-existing plot elements not mattering anymore, because they also just hand-waved that away in the first 4 minutes. And the funniest part about this is the only time we see the parents in the whole movie. This one scene. This is it. We don't get to see them, I don't know, adjust to the fact that their dog is a boy now. We don't see him maybe push back and not want Rufus to be a boy. No, they just disappear after this major status quo change. So Rufus is having women problems.
Wow. I can't believe you shared that incredibly deep and personal story with me, Darla. And... Frisbee!
I'd like to think that Darla's story was something really horrific and traumatic. Like, oh, Rufus, my parents just died in a plane crash. And he's like, Frisbee! But then Catgirl joins the school and Rufus is immediately down bad for her.
Rufus, my name is Cat.
Excuse me, why'd you just knock away my pudding cup? Also, her name is literally Cat, which... Okay, so White Boy says that the only reason Rufus is called Rufus is because he named him, and if he wasn't his dog but could still transform into a human, he would probably name himself Dog. And I have to question the intelligence of these animals. So Rufus in human form still has the intelligence of a dog. Sure, he can talk and walk, but that's about it as far as the intelligence expansions go. But Cat was able to follow an infiltration plan to go get Rufus's amulet, and the cat who sent, well, Cat was smart enough to come up with the infiltration plan. However, they're not smart enough to not name Cat's human form Cat. And then there's a talking squirrel, so I guess I'm the fucking idiot for thinking about this. So Cat's plan to get Rufus's amulet was to ask him on a date so that she can get him alone to steal his amulet. But Rufus is unconfident, so White Boy and White Boy's girl decide to go with him as a double date. For nearly 10 minutes out of this 44-minute movie. I mean, it may assassinate the movie's pacing, but hey, at least it gives me a good excuse to skip over a chunk of this movie after spending this whole time just talking about the first 10 minutes of Rufus 2. Jesus died, so 24 years later I could do this. Although, if I have to say anything about this segment, there are some moments where Cat does some sus things, like eat a worm or play with yarn, and this just makes me think. These kids know that in this world, there are animals that can transform into humans. Hell, one of them has been living with them for a year. However, they can't piece together that this girl who plays with yarn, eats worms, and is again literally named Cat is a cat until she just literally takes out her amulet in front of the window for no reason.
Are you seeing what?
Yes. That amulet looks just like Rufus's.
Do you? Do you guys not hear what they're saying? I mean, they're right behind you guys. So after a couple minutes of antics that don't matter, White Boy and his girl steal Cat's amulet, turning her back into a cat and capturing her. And then Rufus walks in and they explain what's going on, but Rufus doesn't believe them and doesn't want to be friends with White Boy anymore. Oh no. But then the squirrel decides to join the main plot for the first time in this movie, and the Verminator kidnaps Rufus. And then White Boy and his girl just let Cat free. They even give her back her amulet. Then what was the point of any— oh, I gotta move on. And then Cat exposits to us that dragons are real and the amulets were made from dragon magic before they left the planet. We officially have Rufus lore. So then Rufus's amulet gets stolen, the squirrel uses it to turn into a human, and instead of just killing him on the spot, they put Rufus into a mechanism that would slowly kill them so that the heroes would have time to save him. So the kids bust in and they turn the squirrel back into a squirrel after only 4 minutes of being a human, and he escapes. And they free Rufus.
Time to go old school.
Just pick up the fucking box! And the squirrel's assistant, Timothy Chalamet, takes Cat's amulet and instead of, leaving, he holds her hostage, threatening to throw her into a tub of acorn butter if Rufus doesn't give him his amulet. This is a very weird thing to say about Rufus, but this movie is way less grounded than the first. Now, wait, just hear me out. The first movie, despite being about a human who turns into a dog, basically everything else besides that doesn't go beyond the rules of reality. It's not that loony or cartoony. The most cartoony thing that happens besides the whole dog into human thing was the squirrel, which even that felt like it was played off as a joke. But in this movie, we have that talking squirrel as the main villain, dragon magic, and Timothy Chalamet threatening to throw Cat into a tub of acorn butter. Oh, and also, why don't you just leave? You're trying to turn the squirrel into a human. That's all you want. You only need the amulet to do that. Why are you giving the kids a chance to beat you? So anyway, then Rufus pulls some Indiana Jones shit and kicks him into the tub of acorn butter, getting Cat and her amulet back. But then Cat's boss just shows up and reveals herself to be her mom, who we've never seen before. Now, call me stupid, and it would be very easy for you to do so, but I feel like for a character that has been built up for this entire film's runtime, although that's very short, you would think it would be someone set up earlier, not just an OC. I I was expecting fucking Darla to pop back up. And then she steals Rufus's amulet, but Kat goes,
I don't want to do this no more.
and then she's like,
Oh, okay.
and gives Rufus's amulet back and just leaves. I feel like they planned for the mom to betray Kat and then looked at the runtime that Nickelodeon won't budge on and rewrote the ending. And then they all lived happily ever after. And the movie ends with a setup for a sequel that... Oh wait, it didn't happen. I mean, not yet.
You never sleep on Rufus 3, all right?
Dude, Rufus 3 is going to be a banger. For sure.
You guys should do that one on HBO.
Oh, yeah.
And just get it real weird.
Doggy
Rufus
style.
3, doggy style.
I gotta be honest, I was pleasantly surprised by Rufus 2. I thought it would just be the first one again, and it ended up being that, but worse and more convoluted. But anyways, we're done with Jace Norman's furry arc, now back to regular Jace Norman's brand of shittiness. Wait, this movie's actually not bad? Yeah, this one completely blindsided me, but Blurred is actually kind of okay, which is surprising because the first 8 minutes of this movie genuinely drained me so much that when I started this movie on Monday, I turned it off 5 minutes in and I only came back the following Friday, which... Okay, yeah, when you look at my upload schedule, it doesn't sound that unreasonable. This movie gets right into it, title card right off the bat. We really ought to save time to tell this story in the best way possible. This is Blurt 2018. This movie starts with JoJo calling Ballinger's best friend like San Siwa and Jace Norman, who has severe schizophrenia.
Voice, and you got your inside voice. And right now, you're giving your inside voice a little too much airtime. Okay?
After playing the metaverse once, he gets a severe mental illness. Realistic.
Will you dance with me?
Well, I mean, I'm a little rusty, but if you insist.
Wait, so there's like no controllers in this game? To move in the game, you just move in real life? So what, you're just expected to play this in like a football field? Now, as I said, I turned the movie off by this point. It was just the same thing again. For the third time, we have Jace Norman being down bad for a girl. For the second time, we have Jace Norman being bullied by a seemingly nice guy. Also, there's like something going on between those two.
Hey,
Who? Me?
it's Jerry, right?
Is he talking to me? How does he know my name? Almost.
So I'm so glad I ran into you. First of all, how you doing?
Yeah.
The ironic enjoyment had run dry. I was just burnt out from watching the same movie over and over and over again. But then something happened. When I came back to watch the rest of it, I kinda liked it. I was surprised to find out there was some not horrible cringe comedy on display, and I honestly started to enjoy myself, and then...
And I'm running for president.
And I'm Kanye West.
Yeah, so this movie takes a complete 180 turn 18 minutes in where Jace Norman suddenly decides to run for school president. And they treat it like an actual election with debates and speeches, and I don't know, it's probably just because I watched 3 movies of the same thing back to back. But some very basic and simple political humor was kind of a breath of fresh air after enduring all of that shit. There's this joke where Jace Norman treats the phrase drama geeks as a slur, going on and on about how offensive it is. And I don't know, I kind of chuckled. There's another gag during the aforementioned debate scene where the girl Jace Norman was down bad for, who is running the debate, tries to get the nice guy canceled by bringing up shitty things he's done. And I do realize it's probably just because I binged these all back to back and my sense of humor is completely degraded. But I don't know, I kind of chuckled at these bits. There's a feeling I got that the people behind this film were parodying the other films. Like, you know how I've been going on about how all these movies are about a dumb loser who is horny for a girl and then slowly over a film they form a couple? Yeah, well, in this movie, Jace gets the girl 29 minutes in, except she turns out to be a massive dick, and at the end of the movie, he gets a girl more suiting for him. And this completely caught me off guard, but the movie ends with Jace directly making fun of the sequel setups the other movies were obsessed with.
Wondering what comes next, or if we'll ever meet again? All I can say is, Get out of my head already.
Again, this is like completely nothing compared to a real movie. But again, compared to these three motherfuckers, this might as well be The Empire Strikes Back. But let's not kid ourselves. This film doesn't subvert every trope in these movies, not by a long shot. Okay, so I just got to this point in Blurt where Jace Norman ruins JoJo Siwa's dance recital, and I need to know, does JoJo Siwa not want to be friends with Jace Norman anymore? Is this the point in the movie where they do the cliche? Is this movie gonna do it? Holy fucking shit, they did it. Oh my god, JoJo Siwa doesn't want to be friends with Jace Norman anymore. Holy fucking shit, I was right. Although I will say, the reason JoJo has a falling out with Jace is actually understandable and leads to an actually good message for kids about how you can't use your disabilities as an excuse for your shitty actions. Again, absolutely none of this is at all subversive from the perspective of a real movie. The political humor, girlfriend subversion, and the falling out are super simple, and the movie starts very rough and cliche. But I say if you really want to see this film's true beauty, you have to suffer through the first three prior to watching this. Dare I say, it's a whole ass 5.5 out of 10. I always knew you had it in you, Jace. So we're back to an hour-plus long runtime, and I thought I would like these movies shorter, but after these two fucking speed ran all conflict and character development, I was kinda glad to see that we were back to a theatrical-ish runtime. Even though I did think Blurt did well with its short runtime, these two movies are actually pretty different from one another. Out with the family comedy and in with the detective movie. And I gotta say, the mystery in this movie is... a mixed bag, to say the least. And this different approach also applies to the protagonist. Instead of a horny, certified, unbased loser, this time, presumably nostalgic for the Splitting Atom days, Jace Norman plays a Chad in this movie. He wears a chain, does parkour, and is mean and rebellious. Look at him, he's so cool. He definitely doesn't seem like part of a thespian troupe. So like Richard Watterson, Jace Norman's dad is missing, but unlike Richard, he didn't abandon him. Yet. He just mysteriously disappeared 3 months ago after leaving for work, and Jace has been independently trying to find him as a private eye, to the disappointment of his mom, and after he hacks this car dealership to find his dad's car's GPS records. John Wick's got nothing on this shit. His mom's had enough and sends him to live with his grandpa in Bixler Valley, where he will resume school at the town's local high school, Bixler High. But it's okay, because the info he got from the dealership shows that his dad's car is also located in Bixler Valley, so he agrees. There he meets his love interest for this movie, this guy named Jack Finn, who is the most trustworthy man on the globe. He gets the cops to drop Jace's trespassing charges. He gives him a ride home when coincidentally the police are looking for him. He's so fucking reliable. There's no fucking way he would secretly be bad in any way, shape, or fucking form. What would you choose? Shooting the shit with Jack Finn? Or finding a girlfriend? Yeah, it's Jack Finn all the livelong day. The entire movie is narrated by Jace, and even though it's just a way for him to give exposition to us, I don't know, I kinda like it. Kinda adds to the detective aesthetic this movie's going for, you know? Yeah, I think Rufus 2 might have fucked me up in the head, because I also kind of enjoyed this one too. There's this one really cool montage. If we ignore the most surprising twist villain since Syndrome, there are legit some clever parts of this mystery that I didn't see coming. Like in the middle, the GF and Jace team up, her promising to find his dad if he helps with solving school-wide cases. And this little girl, she's the worst character in the movie, comes to them because her dog was missing. And you think that this is just another case they're gonna solve like the others. But later, Jace finds out his father worked on an earthquake generator back in the 80s, which someone who I tell you definitely isn't Jack Finn is trying to reactivate. And then we circle all the way back around, and we find out that the reason the girl's dog ran away is because of dog's abilities to sense earthquakes. That's actually a really subtle and clever setup and payoff. And also his dad looked like Matt Pat back in the 80s. This movie ends with the reveal that Jack Finn was the bad guy. No, this can't be. I would have trusted him with my child. And it's revealed he's been holding his dad hostage, forcing him to work on the earthquake machine. And after a scene that was clearly not all shot on the same day, all three generations come together to beat Jack Finn and scrap the earthquake machine once and for all. Let's see, am I missing something? Oh yeah, there's no falling out between the main characters. I truly can't believe it. I was expecting Henry Danger to be as high as the bar would go. I thought that would be the peak. But no, I liked 2 Jace Norman movies in a row. I'm so excited. What's next?
Oh my god! Oh jeez! Oh my god! Oh jeez! Somebody help me!
Now I know this show began before Bixler released, but we started this journey with Dan and now we must end it with Dan. Just like how he ended his own career after this. I'm not going to be around the bush. This is the worst thing I've ever reviewed on this platform. That includes all of these. Hell, this may be the worst superhero show I've ever seen. I say with no hyperbole, it may be worse than Megamind Rules. It's so bad, in fact, that I only watched the first 2 episodes. 22 minutes. That's all I could take. So to keep me from getting Mr. Entered, I'm going to specify that every criticism I dish out in this segment only applies to the first 2 episodes. Consider this segment a first impressions review, except I'm never watching this shit again unless I want to demoralize myself even further. Maybe if I watch one more episode it becomes Chernobyl, but I've suffered through every fucking thing this guy's ever shit out. I think I deserve this. Alright, don't blink, because I'm going to make this quick. Sin 1. It ain't a looker. I mean, yeah, there's not much to say here. Like, just look at it. You guys know those religious kid shorts Butch Hard to Work With Man made a while back? Yeah, those look better than this show. When the autism can be cured through the power of prayer guy is beating you, you know you fucked up. Sin 2. LOL, RAR, XD, LMAO, LMFAO. You know how people criticize the OG show for having a too random sense of humor? Yeah, people like me, right. Well, I feel I owe that show an apology, because this show is like if Dan wrote actual jokes in the script, then ate the script, then shit the script out, and then put his grubby little hands in the shit and dug out what was left of the script in there, and put the pieces back together. But all the jokes in the script that weren't dissolved are from completely different scenes. I'm not even gonna tell you how the show's humor is random, I'm just gonna show you how the first episode ends.
I'll be back on Christmas Day!
Sin 3. Dan Schneider. I'm literally not gonna say anything else. Well, I did it. Besides the episodes of Henry Danger I didn't watch, and the 90% of Adventures of Kid Danger I didn't watch, I have seen every Jace Norman-led Nickelodeon movie or show. So I'm finally gonna do what humanity has been too afraid to do for all of existence. I'm gonna rank every single Jace Norman show and movie. really need to find a mate. Number 7, the first 2 episodes of Adventures of My Sleep Paralysis Demon. I honestly respect the lack of effort, except I don't respect it because Dan Schneider. Number 6, Jace's second furry arc. Hey, at least it's interesting to talk about. You know, it's crazy that throughout all my time talking about this movie, I haven't brought up the ethics of Rufus's relationship. Number 5, the first furry arc. This movie's pretty subdued up until the creatives went, fuck, this movie's 42 minutes, we need to wrap this shit up. Number 4, splitting asses. This is the last bad one. Everything ahead of this is just okay, I guess. This movie's bad and generic, but it's funny, and Chad Griffo is the most base character Nick's ever made. Number 3, Hetero Danger. It's a buck-ass wild and not really good singular vision, but it's a singular vision, damn it, and I gotta respect it. I said I respect the vision, not the man. Number 2, Autism the Movie.
This is an awkward silence. I should say something. I should ask her out. What? No, I didn't mean that. Stop.
After all the shit I've sat through, this and the next one was a breath of fresh air. Too bad the first few minutes of this movie is a breath of I just downed a whole bottle of Dasani in one gulp air. Number 1, Bitch Ass High Private Eye. It's the best one and it's just a 6 out of 10. But hey, this guy gave us a pretty decent kids movie, so gold star. Welp. That's it, and I'm just as confused as when I started. Like, how did this man's domination last so long? He has an insane amount of projects under his belt, all because of one not horrible sitcom. So yeah, it was fun to revisit some of my favorite movies from my adolescence, but I won't lie and say that I'm sad that this list won't be needing updating anytime soon.
Now, what do you
Nothing,
feel
dude. I don't have an agent or manager.
at all? Okay, so acting's probably pretty tough to do right now.
Well, I'm gonna do a movie. I'm gonna do the Henry Danger movie in Vancouver.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Oh my god!
What? What happened? Where am I? Who am I? Huh? Oh, what the hell? Again? Okay, you know what they say. You have an ominous vision once, just walk it off, pussy. But twice? That's when you have to get off your ass and do something about it. I'm off to find this creek. Okay, I think this is it, but I don't see anything here. Hey, what? Who's there? Hey, down here. Where are you? Show yourself. Huh? Whoa. Blue people with bad movies? Be gone, giant. What do you guys think you can do against me? Now we will halt. Huh? Let me talk to him. Shit, it's a multiverse story.